What's going on, Rob? I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, doing good. Dude, yeah, it's fun. I haven't done an interview in a little while, so it's cool.
It's great to have you here, man. So I've really enjoyed following your work across Nelson, Lou Gramm, scrap metal, along with your role mentoring musicians at Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. Today's
Mhm.
simply a chance. Today's simply a chance to talk about your journey, your experiences behind the kit, and the mindset that drives what you do. So thanks for taking the time to join in, man.
Sure. Thanks for having me, and yeah, look forward to a fun chat.
So take us back. Let's start with the Genesis moment, all right? Take us back to the beginning. What first pulled you toward drums, and when did you realize this might become more than just a hobby for you?
Okay, well, the short version, I started playing when I was about 6 or 7, and that's around when I started taking formal lessons. Before that, when I was a kid, I did what probably almost every drummer did, and I just beat the hell out of my mom's pots and pans and garbage cans, and we used to get these potato chips called Charles chips that came in a can, and I used to take whatever I had and beat on those, and they just were like,
Awesome.
okay, we got to do something about this. So I started taking lessons when I think I was 7,
With the
and
pots and
initially it was just
pans?
yeah,
Yeah,
lessons
you
on
were
the bus.
using pots and pans. All right.
Yeah, they bought me a snare drum. Like the first lessons were from this old German guy who I didn't last too long with. He scared the hell out of me.
Oh, really?
But we
He's like,
started out just on snare
nine,
drum, and
octo, octum,
well, kind of.
octum. Mm. Yeah, I can picture
And
that, man. Sorry.
just
I'm
a
just
little kid.
yeah. Scared the
But
shit out of you.
yeah, but that didn't. I started right back up taking lessons shortly after that, and I went to many music schools in Rochester: the Hochstein School of Music, the Eastman School of Music. When I was a teenager, I went there for 3 years. I went to college for music education at Nazareth College here in Rochester. So right from the beginning, I started learning how to read music. I was in orchestra bands, percussion ensembles, all that kind of stuff, which is
Yeah.
invaluable to learn how to read, to learn how to play in big groups and things.
Yeah,
But
I love playing in an orchestra, having the whole vibe there of all the musicians.
yeah,
For a guitar
and
player, they didn't really offer much as for me to play. I'd have to sit there for like 80 measures and play like one chord. So I tried
yeah.
to play something like a diminished chord or something that didn't belong. But anyway, I'm sorry to cut you off, man. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. But as far as drum set goes, I started listening to music. My mom always had the radio on. And when I was 8 years old, Kiss was on Paul Lynde's Halloween special. And, like the previous generation, it was the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. For me, it was Kiss on Paul Lynde's Halloween special. And I was like, holy cow, what is that? And
Yeah,
so I
so
got my mom to take me out, buy all the Kiss albums and stuff. And I would always play along to records and stuff, but still taking formal lessons for percussion and snare drum. So it was kind of a mix of everything where I'm kind of really self-trained in drum set and rock, just listening to my favorites and playing and being in bands when I started in high school and stuff, but all the way through college, being formally trained and that end of it. So, I think I got the best of everything by doing it
yeah.
that way.
Kiss was my biggest earliest inspiration too. Seeing the Kiss Alive 2 album with the fold out. I used to fantasize about that when I was a little kid. My second grade picture, I have a Kiss Destroyer t-shirt on. Yeah, absolutely had a tremendous influence on me. Dude, I was just looking at that on their website. Swear to God, man. There was one for that would cost you like $600, didn't it?
No, 150, I
Oh,
think.
well, I saw one for 661 on their website, and then there was another one for like 900 and something. That's
Oh,
awesome.
it's been out of
That's
print for a while
sweet.
because I'm knocking everything else over on my shelf trying to put
Yeah,
it
that's
back.
sweet. So do you prefer vinyl or a CD or MP3 or digital or I'm a vinyl guy because I just love things that are tangible.
Well, I started out that way. I mean, I still have all my records
Oh,
starting in the early 80s. So I have
sweet.
everything still pristine in plastic sleeves. I got
Mhm.
so much shit that's worth a lot of money
Yeah,
because I never ruined it. I haven't played much of it lately, but I got, a lot of rare pressings and a lot of cool stuff. So that was my thing. And then CDs came along
yeah,
and that got cool. And, at first CDs didn't really sound that good, as we all know,
right.
but
Yeah,
they got it better. So I have a huge CD collection. And as far as streaming MP3s, it's good for convenience and
yeah,
stuff, but it just
yeah.
doesn't sound the same. I have a real good turntable. I have a pretty darn nice sound system. The only problem with me now is because I've drummed so much and cymbals have been bashing my ears for 50 years. All my high end is gone. So
Yeah.
I have no high frequency
Yeah.
hearing whatsoever. So, well, can I tell the difference? Yeah. If I had normal hearing, I'd probably tell it a little better.
Yeah. It reminds me of Paul Gilbert. He's got to wear headphones now to kind of block out probably the high frequencies, like you're saying. You
Yeah,
know,
guys get tinnitus or tinnitus, however you want to say
yeah.
it.
Were there specific drummers other than maybe Peter Criss that really shaped your approach or like that spark? I know you said you took lessons when you were younger and you listened to Kiss, but was there
Mhm.
anybody specifically that really like Neil Peart or somebody like him that really just said, this is it, this is what I want to do?
Well, actually, before Kiss, my mom was a huge Osmond fan, right? So we'd play the Osmond records. And so I think it was Jay Osmond was the drummer in the Osmond. So he was the first guy. Who else has who else would say that? Nobody. So I'll
Yeah.
admit it. I do. Call me whatever name you want.
That's like liking somebody like Engelbert Humperdinck, you know,
Right.
being a
Who
huge
cares?
fan of him. He was my
Well,
inspiration.
yeah. I mean, it's just it's who shaped me early on. So I was
Yeah.
listening to the Osmonds, right? Okay. And then Peter Criss, of course, was like the big one. Once I got hooked into Kiss,
Yeah.
it was Peter Criss, and then I discovered John Bonham, and then I discovered
Oh,
Neil Peart, and then I discovered Stuart Copeland, then I discovered Tommy Aldridge, and you know what I mean? It just took off from there, and still to this day, probably because you're really shaped by your youth. You
mhm.
know, those were the guys that really, and people go, well, who's your favorite? And I'm like, I
It's
don't have a favorite.
impossible. Yeah.
Why do I have to have a favorite?
Yeah. It's
What's your
impossible.
favorite this? What's your favorite that? And I don't have a favorite anything because why do I have to limit it to one? So those are the guys that started me off. And then of course there's people from there as time went on. But
Yeah.
yeah, all those guys.
Yeah. I think it's impossible to have a favorite because each player is good at what they do in
Yeah.
their own particular thing and having their own voice, at least for guitar, I mean. But for drummers specifically, two that really stand out for me that you just mentioned, John Bonham. You can definitely tell when it's John Bonham playing,
Of
and
course.
Neil Peart. But yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely love John Bonham.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
the biggest compliment you can give anybody is to me, and I taught drums for many years. I recently just stopped, but I always told my students too is, don't try to be John Bonham. Don't try to be Neil Peart. You're never going to outdo that guy because he was the original. So you can't outperform. You can't be a better John Bonham than he was, but you can take from everybody like a soup and put it all into a bowl and mix it up and make it your own. So, learn their licks, learn whatever, but we don't need another John Bonham. I mean, there's too many of them as there is right now. We need you.
mm,
We don't have you. I could go on YouTube and find 100 guys that sound like, well, they won't sound just like John Bonham. You
yeah,
get my point.
yeah,
So
yeah,
everybody needs their own identity. So if I could sit there and go, as soon as I heard you
mhm,
play, I knew it was you.
yeah,
That's the best thing you can tell
yeah,
anybody, you
yeah.
know?
That's hard to do when there's so much music out there, especially now. Like anybody can put out a song, unfortunately.
That's the problem with the internet is there's no filter anymore.
No.
It's just here it all is and
Mhm.
have fun sorting through all that
Yeah.
stuff.
You got
And
to sift through the garbage to get to the good stuff, and by that time,
who's got time for that?
yeah, you don't have time for it. So a lot of good bands they get pushed to the side, and that's unfortunate because again, they're competing with so much garbage that goes out there. I recently learned that on Spotify they put out like 60,000 songs per day. Can you imagine
Well,
trying to get through all that stuff?
and a
Yeah,
lot of it's AI now. Think
yeah,
about AI now.
yeah.
And so much of that people need to I mean, it's one thing to use it as a tool, right?
Yep, I
Because
agree.
you have to, or you're going to be obsolete.
Yeah,
But it will take over this universe. Anything that's creative is on its way out the door unless you can
yeah,
figure out a way to use it to your advantage. Because now you see AI music starting to take over the charts. Like one of the country charts, as everybody probably knows by now, one of them, not the biggest one, but
yeah.
one of the country charts was the top position was an AI song by an AI band. And if I didn't tell you it was, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've looked into that myself. Jordan Rudess from Dream Theater.
Yeah.
He's a big supporter. He's an advocate for AI. So I tried to keep an open mind, and I was checking out this website, it's Suno AI. Dude, I swear to God, it sounds so perfect that you can't even tell.
Yeah.
The only way I could tell is if I, break it down in my DAW and I can try to separate the tracks, which is
Right.
impossible with AI because
Yeah.
everything's kind of blended together, buddy. So you
Mhm.
can tell that way that it's AI, but some of that stuff is amazing. The problem is with that, though, is because it's only focusing on the particular mood and the feel, and it's going to get old after a while because music creates dopamine, and
Mhm.
as well as for artists like us that actually perform, we also have the endorphins. And so the intent of AI is really just focusing on that dopamine, increasing those dopamine levels.
My biggest problem with music today is it's quantized to a computer, it's sampled, everything's
Yeah,
perfect, there's no humanity in it.
yeah,
And that really aids people into accepting AI
yeah,
because you're already starting to get perfection, and humans aren't perfect.
yeah,
So it gets fatiguing after a while, and personally, I think most of it sounds like shit. But
yeah,
when I put on a record like pick a Led Zeppelin record, pick a Queen record, pick the
yeah,
Cars Candio. You put that on a good system and
yeah,
it smokes
yeah.
any or almost, not all, the sound quality and the performance is a million times better than any of the stuff that comes out today, just from sheer sonics,
Yeah.
because it was done by humans. It wasn't perfect. It was analog. Everything sounds big. You can hear everything and it's in its place. Now everything's just like
Yeah,
and brick to a million,
compressed. Yeah, it's
and
compressed.
it
Like,
sounds like crap. So the way
yeah,
we fight it is we leave mistakes, we leave dynamics, we don't fix everything. You know what I mean? Some of the best drummers, sticking to drumming,
yeah,
take Steve Smith. Steve Smith did not play to a click track until the Raised on Radio Journey record. And that's where he ran into a problem with Steve Perry, from what I understand. One of the things is like he couldn't play with a click. He was a jazz drummer. He had to more
yeah.
or less learn how to be a rock player. But there's one of the best drummers in the world had a problem with the click. And that's not to belittle him. I'm
Yeah,
sure he learned to use it as a tool. But
yeah,
come on, man. Humanity is not perfect. Jeff Porcaro will tell you. I don't think he ever played to a click unless he made it himself. It's it,
that's interesting.
we're
I
not
never knew
perfect.
that.
Time is not perfect. We're not perfect. Okay, so when I play to a click track, whether it was with Lou Gramm or whether with it's Nelson now, I can do it with my eyes closed. That's not the point.
Yeah,
The point is I'll catch myself weaving in and out of it a little bit, but I don't stray too far. And nobody ever notices because it's a slow weaving in and out,
yeah.
because that's just my humanity coming in.
Your
I can't
feel,
play
though.
like a machine.
It's your own feel. It's you.
Right.
I totally agree with you. The energy that you get from that is different from having a consistent, perfect click track.
Yeah. But it just feels better.
Yeah, the energy, the vibe.
I'll give you an example. Not
Feel.
the last Nelson gig I did, but second last Nelson gig I did. Everybody in that band listens to the click. And I've never been in a band where everybody listens to the click, but it's helpful. It has its purposes for everybody. And
Yeah,
there's little cues in there for everybody to know where they are, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. That's great. But for grins and giggles, Gunnar Nelson,
yeah.
who is a drummer and a great drummer, if you listen to the song Love and Affection on After the Rain, that's him drumming.
Oh, wow.
Everything else is Bobby Rock, but that's Gunnar playing drums on that song. He said, you know what? I'm going to turn down the click for this show. I'm going to listen to you, right? I'm like, cool. Thinking that's really the way it should be. You should be listening
Yeah.
to me. And he turned around like 3 songs in, and not blowing smoke up my own ass, but I am. He goes, he just like he was getting into it. He could feel it. And after the show, you could tell he was like, wow, because he wasn't getting blasted with perfect time. He was going with me,
Like you said, the humanity, the energy it's raw, it's live, it breathes. I totally get what you're saying, man. That's
But
great.
it is a good tool. Like
Yeah,
you should, and this isn't just drums. This is any musical instrument. Practice to a metronome. That's the best thing anybody could do. I don't care if you play guitar, it doesn't
lock
matter,
in your groove.
because
Yeah,
you need timing. Now, use it as a tool. Don't rely on it as a crutch, but it is an incredible tool. Some of the best musicians, like, okay, I play guitar too, not very well, but when I listen to a guy like Nuno Bettencourt, I listen to a guy like Eddie Van Halen. Yeah, but that's awesome.
They
But
were
you know
both
what?
drummers, by the way. They
Right.
both play drums, I mean, or
That's
did.
where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
The rhythm. Nuno Bettencourt does not get the credit he deserves from the rhythms he plays in his music. There's a ton of like
Yeah.
really cool triplets in a riff. I'm not even talking about a lead. He just throws in so many like 16th note triplets thrown in there, and it's perfect. I'm like,
his
as a
accents,
drummer, I'm like,
his accents, his syncopation, and everything is amazing.
yeah.
I absolutely love Bruno's rhythm guitar, you know, especially on the earlier stuff like Pornography.
He-Man Woman Hater.
Oh,
Listen to the
dude,
riff
that's
for
awesome.
He-Man Woman Hater.
That riff is, you know,
that's what I'm talking about.
Triplet riff he's doing there is pretty fast and difficult. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that riff is incredible. In addition to that, he's an amazing lead player too. Some of the techniques that he does. So that guy's incredible, man.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to get him on here at some point too. So you worked with artists like Nelson, Lou Gramm, scrap metal, as we were just discussing. How has your role shifted between those musical environments between each band?
Each thing is a slightly different dynamic, but I'm just a hired guy in all of them, right? So it's not too much different, but
okay. Like you said with Nelson, you know, they use a click track, right?
Yeah.
So that's
definitely what we did with Lou too.
Oh, you did with Lou too? That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, that was strange because Foreigner wasn't recorded that way, right?
Yeah.
And so me coming into that band playing to the click track felt really strange because it was, like I said, it wasn't recorded that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, the only reason he uses tracks in a click track is a little extra keyboard parts are in there, and there are background vocals that are sampled, but everybody sings live. So if the tracks go down, it doesn't matter. It's just there to enhance. We didn't rely on them. But anyways, so my point is playing for a guy like Lou is similar to Nelson, though, because they're very down-to-earth guys, great sense of humor, great humility. The Nelson guys are closer to my age. Matter of fact, they are my age. We're all the same age in this band. And they have the same sense of humor. And they're self-deprecating. And if I say something, they'll listen to something I might say, you know, just because I'm a new guy and an outsider. So I have a different thought process than what they would what they say. And I'm not that I'm about to throw my weight around. I'm just the drummer. But
I love those videos you've been posting on like behind the scenes with them guys, because I haven't heard about them guys for years, but you've been posting some stuff up there and they seem pretty chill. It's about chemistry too.
Well, it totally is. Like, I've never been in a band where we all really legitimately feel like a bunch of brothers, even though two of them are. But like JJ, our guitar player, super chill guy. Him and I are like fast friends ever since I met those guys. And we have a new keyboard player coming in when we hit the Monsters of Rock cruise. His name is Danny. Met him, talked to him on the phone. Super chill guy.
Yeah.
Everybody is super chill, has a great sense of humor. You know, we don't take ourselves too seriously. That's the most important thing in a band is chemistry. And I feel that with these guys, you know.
It's great, man.
You can't buy that. You can go get the best guitar player or drummer, but that doesn't mean they're a fun guy to hang out with, you know.
Yeah, I've been there. It's crucial to have that band chemistry. Whereas I've played in other projects where I've taken somebody that was less talented, but was able to progress and grow being in the project. It had a great attitude.
You can't buy that, you know.
Yeah, you got to have that kind of brotherhood or that bond there, because if you don't, then you're miserable. And some of these bands, it just blows my mind, the longevity of them, like the Rolling Stones. I mean, I can imagine how many times some guys probably screamed at each other or whatever. But
I just heard about Cheap Trick. That somebody was asking Robin Zander recently about how you guys stay together and how you've been together for 50 plus years. And he says, well, we're not friends. So we only meet up and do this when we're together, but we're not friends in private.
It's just a business relationship, apparently.
And that works for some people. I mean, whatever works. But I'd rather be in at a band with a bunch of guys where we could sit at breakfast and mock each other out or have fun or tell jokes and
Yeah.
nobody's getting upset or you know what I mean. It's just, if
After
you're
the
not,
show, go out for breakfast or whatever at 3 o'clock in the
yeah,
morning, hang out and chill. Yeah,
yep,
I love doing that stuff, man.
yeah.
That's pretty cool, dude. So, what are some lessons about professionalism and adaptability that touring taught you that younger musicians might not see this day and age?
Well, of course, you learn as you go. But I guess if I were to give, let's say I was to give advice to somebody who wants to, let's say you're what I used to be. You know, I played bars for decades, right? Club bands, popular ones. First of all, you have to kind of sort of be as ready as you can in your head if an opportunity comes. So what does that mean? It means, of course, you have to be able to play. That's a given. You don't have to be the best, but you have to be able to play. You have to be competent enough for the gig, but you have to be you have to learn to be easygoing and get along with people like we just said. You have to nobody wants to be around the jerk or
Yep.
the opinionated guy, especially today, because everybody's so divided with politics and this, that. It's like nobody
Sensitive.
wants to be around that guy. Okay. So just if you don't agree with somebody's stuff, just keep it to yourself or
Yep.
whatever, But you have to know how to show up at an airport by yourself with your passport, have your shit together and get on a plane, rent a car, drive to the hotel, and be there when the rest of the guys get there. Nobody's going to hold your hand with that. You have to know how to travel. You should know how to present yourself properly. You should know that when you're out in public, you're representing the group that you're with,
Yeah.
right? You're not just representing yourself. You're representing, when I'm out with Nelson, I'm representing them.
Exactly.
When like on Sunday after our last gig, those guys all left way before me. I was sitting in the hotel waiting for hours and in the airport for a flight that didn't come till much later than it was supposed to. But I'm sitting there hanging out with the people in the hotel and the waitresses, and they were being nice and chit chatting me, and I was having fun. But I'm representing. They see me as the guy from Nelson. They don't just see me because I'm Rob, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm a jerk, they're going to say,
It's going to reflect on
wasn't
the band.
Rob was a jerk. It was that drummer from Nelson was a jerk,
Yeah.
right? So you just, you have to you have to learn the music. You have to, okay, let's use Nelson as an example. When they first said, hey, can you do a gig? When I subbed for the very first time, nobody gave me anything other than the tracks, which helped. But I had to go find live versions of all their stuff, because if I had learned the studio versions, I would have been wrong, because they changed things live. So you have to have a forethought to say, well, I can't just go get their CD and learn their music. What if they changed it in 30 years?
That's pretty smart. Take an initiative like that. That's the difference
And know
between a professional and an amateur.
Well, that's why I'm trying to pass that on to
Great.
people. Any or new keyboard players join. I'm like, dude, here's a YouTube video of how it's done now. Don't go by the record. Now, for me, going by the record came second, because their drummer that I had just replaced kind of interpreted things his way and kind of got a little off the track.
Okay.
And I went back and listened to the original tracks after, and I'm like, oh, that's a little different. And I said to those guys, you want me to learn it the original way, right? Not the way you're used to learning, or you're used to playing it now. And both of them were like, no, go back, learn the original and play it closer to that. So I had to untrain my brain from the live versions I just learned to,
that's good.
So I'm battling in my head, live arrangements, original parts, right? Yeah. But that's the kind of, you have to think of this stuff, because when I showed up for my first scrap metal gig, when I showed up for my first Nelson gig, there's no rehearsal. All you do is you sit in a hotel room, they get their little amps and the guitars, and I'm playing on a pillow. That's rehearsal. That's the first time I play with these guys. You better have your shit together, or else you're doomed.
That's awesome. That's a great point, man. To be take initiative like you did, to really be on top of your game. You have to be on top of your game. Like you said, you're representing the band, and you have to put a lot of effort into staying on top of your game and being a professional. Again, the difference between a professional, in my opinion, and an amateur. So that's great, man. That's great, Rob.
And I'm not just saying that to make myself sound
it's a great quality. It really is.
I'm just passing that on.
That's probably why you got the gig, because things like that.
I got the gig.
Oh yeah, I'm curious about this actually.
I find this hilarious. I didn't get the gig because of all that. That's how I kept the gig, right? So I asked Gunnar, I go, how'd you find out about me? I'm thinking it's word of mouth through Lou Gramm,
Mhm.
people I met along the way.
Yeah.
No, had nothing to do with that. That gave me credibility once he saw me, but he
Yeah.
found me doing my Name That Tune videos on LinkedIn. Of all places on LinkedIn, he saw me doing my silly Name That Tune videos. He liked it. He liked me. He wrote me a message on LinkedIn. We have a gig for scrap metal. This is what we do. Call me if you're available.
Wow.
We'd like to have you drum.
You, man.
What? It
That's
had nothing
awesome.
to do with playing for Lou Gramm. It had nothing to do with traveling, doing big shows with that. It was just stupid, my stupid little Name That Tune video. He happened to come across on LinkedIn, not Instagram, not Facebook.
You know.
And that's how I got the gig. My latest Name That Tune this week, whenever this ends, is all my bloopers. Okay. I put together a blooper thing like it's 3 minutes long. It's just me all screwing up what I play, screwing up what I say. And that shows you how seriously I take myself. I don't. It's so, dude, it's all good. It's all
It's for
good.
the love of it, though. If you get too serious about it, then I think there's a fine line between being a professional, but also being too serious. That some people can
Yeah.
get to that point where you just start hating it after a while. At least for me, I was like too serious about it. And I don't think I was really enjoying it. And it's about enjoying it, it's about the love for what you
Yeah.
do. But that's just my opinion.
No, but you're 100% right because why else are you doing it? If
Yeah.
you don't love it and you're not having fun with it, then
Yeah.
what are you doing it for?
Yeah.
I mean, what's life about? Just the same bullshit every day and getting your golden watch after 60 years at the factory, which you don't get anymore.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting in your rocking chair and you're like, what did I really do?
Yeah.
I did everything they said I was supposed to do. Well, did you live life? Did you have fun? Did you have a sense of humor? Did you, or did you just do what the stupid shit that society tells you you're supposed to do? To me, that's not living. That's dying. You're
Yeah.
dying
Yeah.
doing it that way. You know?
That's what I love about music too. It's therapeutic. That's something that I talk about in the book.
Mm-hmm.
About the psychology of it and the music being therapeutic for people because it's really helped me throughout my life. It's been like my best friend. I mean, if I didn't have music, there's times I don't think I could have made it through it. It's a beautiful outlet. It's a great outlet to express
Yep.
yourself and to speak in a different way that you can't.
Universal.
Yeah, it's a universal language. Is there a memorable live moment or tour experience that really captures what life behind it is like?
I can't think of anything specific. There's just so many things. You know what I mean? Like I can tell you a bunch of funny stories, and I can tell you what a day on the road is sort of like.
Yeah,
One thing it's never it's never always. Does that make sense? It's never always the same thing.
yeah,
Figure
makes
that one out.
sense. Yeah,
I'm a drummer. What do you want?
yeah,
But it's just it's the nice thing about doing this is it's unpredictable sometimes. I mean, yeah, there's the travel and there's the this, but once do the gig, do the sound check, hang out with people, it's always something new, somebody new, and that's what really keeps it fun, and everybody just kind of has fun. It's not a pressurized system, at least internally from within any group I was in, whether it was with Lou, whether it's with these guys in Nelson. Everybody's, if you're around the right people, it's not a job. You know what I mean? It's just fun. And like Gunnar said the other night, Gunner's like, and everybody said this, but he's like, they don't pay me to play the gig. They pay me to do all the other bullshit like traveling. That's what really is not the fun part.
yeah.
But it's a perfect example of why I put up a video the other day of about 15 minutes of what sound check is like. Well, I'm sitting there going, would people find this interesting or is it going to be boring? And I'm like, I
I
bet
loved it.
somebody's got to think it would be cool.
Yeah, I
And
thought it was awesome. I hope you keep doing that too because it's
I
awesome.
will. I got a ton of them with Lou Gramm. Maybe I'll put some of those up. I mean, I
Yeah,
always
they're awesome, man. I love seeing behind the scenes. There's just very talented people, and there's still just regular people. Most people, are like that.
some don't even do their own sound check. It's all recorded. When we
Yeah.
opened up for Bad Company 10 years ago,
Mhm.
we opened up for Bad Company when I was with Lou, but they didn't do their own sound check. It was all tracks that they just played the tracks through the system. They had recorded them live playing, and that's what they used as setting the PA to. Which I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But my point is, I mean, there's a lot more boring stuff that I didn't show, like me setting up the drums, me tuning the drums, me, you know what I mean? Like that stuff's like super boring, but at least I'm like, okay, here's some of it. Me and Gunnar talking about Stuart Copeland of the Police right in the beginning, I mean, it's just fun stuff. That's what we do. I take this all lightly. So if I can show here's something that went wrong and it's kind of funny, like people like that. People don't want a stiff personality. People don't like people who take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
People like seeing people have a good time and having fun. Who cares? Something went wrong. Let me give everybody a hint. In any part of your life, something from now until eternity is going to go wrong. It's going to happen. Accept it. So it's how you deal with it.
Yeah.
Is what makes it.
It's about being in the moment and just being able to pick it up and keep going forward.
That's what I taught my drum students too. I remember telling one of them, I go, when you're practicing, drop a stick on the floor and then practice picking it up and keeping going. It's going to happen to you. Practice whatever. Your drum fell in on you. Whatever you can do to practice a disaster is going to benefit you in the long run.
Yeah, playing live. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. So when you think about your own playing, what do you feel defines your voice behind the drums? We were talking about like John Bonham, Neil Peart, having their own identity, having your own voice. Now you mentioned that earlier.
So, like I was saying, when you grow up and you're learning, you're taking all this in, right? I learned this Bonham lick. I learned this Neil Peart thing, whatever. You learn it. And then you kind of twist it into your own and maybe don't learn it exactly, right? Like learn it up to a certain point and then do whatever you want with it, right? And as you grow into your own style, you grow into yourself, it'll naturally happen, right? You'll just start doing you, as long as you get yourself in the right mindset and get yourself, it's like getting in a trance. It really is. And it was weird because Matthew was telling me, he goes, yeah, first thing I noticed when you play is that your eyes are different. You're out there somewhere.
You're in the zone.
Yeah. That's it. That's the word.
Yep.
And somebody asked me once, do I ever get stage fright or nervous? And it's like, no, never. I'm just there. I'm playing and something is channeling through me. And it only happens when I'm drumming. It doesn't happen in any other part of my life. There's just some sort of vibe takes over and it's just going through you and you're just the conduit for it. Right.
Dude, it's a form of meditation, in my opinion.
Right.
You get into like a meditative state.
Exactly.
I'm practicing for like 12 hours, which I used to do when I was younger. Like 16 years old. I just get into a zone, into a meditative state. And then next thing you know, it's, the next day. You don't even realize it because you're just in the zone like that.
When you're playing a gig, the last thing you want to do is be thinking because that's when you're going to screw up.
Yeah. You'll start second guessing yourself.
Well, that's it. You have to be able to you have to know the material well enough that you could play it without thinking about it. Because when something goes wrong, that's what you're thinking about. Oh shit. Like the first song in our last gig, this never happened to me before. My bass drum pedal came loose off the bass drum. That's never happened to me in a gig before. It's like, what the fuck?
So how did you deal with that dilemma?
Well, you'll see maybe if I post it on social media, but this is the one time. Usually I'm really good and I don't fuck up when something like that happens. But this time it caught me so off guard because it was the first song. I'm like hitting the kick drum and there's like 16 notes on the hi-hat and the intro of our first song. And I did fuck up. And I'm sitting there trying to get the guy's attention over on the side immediately. I'm like, holy shit.
Go and fix my bass.
What do I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So usually that doesn't happen like that. Usually I'm able to keep going and make it happen without anybody else knowing.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard without the bass drum because that keeps the pulse,
That's the exception to the rule. So
play 16th notes on the hi-hat,
We can't play 16th notes on the hi-hat when you're trying to do this.
Yeah, that's true. More like quarter.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's funny. It's funny, but it's not. But
well, it's going to happen. That's one of those things about forming that's going to happen. And it's how
many times I've knocked over a cymbal?
Yeah, it's how you pick yourself back up from it, right?
Well, somebody else picked it up for me. Haha.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
I knocked over the cymbal and I didn't even know it. I just looked over and I was playing. I'm like, where'd it go? Oh, it's down there.
That's cool, man. That's
I had
cool.
no idea. It just
Yeah.
shit happens.
So, how did you end up getting the gig with the Lou? Just out of curiosity. I know you're
Well,
from Rochester, and that's where Lou's from,
right.
and Don. So, I
Most
mean,
of the band. Most of the band is from Rochester, at
yeah,
least
yeah,
initially.
yeah. Don played with him in Black Sheep, and then
Yep.
a
Lou
couple.
had his two brothers, Ben and Dick, initially were in that band too.
Yeah, yeah.
And the keyboard player, Andy Knoll, was from Rochester. So how I got in it's very strange. So I'll try and make it short as possible because I do ramble.
That's all right.
So I used to be in a Foreigner tribute band 25 years ago with Lou's nephew. His name was Peter, and he sang. Now, Peter was Ben's son. Ben is Lou's brother who
Who
plays
you
drums.
filled in for, right?
Keeping score at home, start typing all this out. So,
Mhm.
so Peter lined up we did a couple benefits with Lou. One of them, he came down and actually sang with us in the basement. We did a show with him, and we got to play with him. I remember him turning around the first time I played him, and he just, at least I want to believe, he turned around and he goes, "Awesome." I'm sitting back there playing, like, "Oh, cool, it's awesome." So the next thing I know, they needed somebody to record some Foreigner tracks for promotional purposes. And my next door neighbor, where I used to live, had a recording studio in his basement. So I went in because Ben lived in New York. Ben couldn't do it or whatever.
Yeah.
Rob, you want to do this? Okay. I did it because I already knew all those guys in his band. I knew one of his brothers. I knew Andy. I knew Don. I knew all these guys.
Yeah, that helps.
So that helps. And then later on, they needed a rehearsal drummer once to go and play in Lou's studio in Rochester. He's a place in downtown Rochester. Want to go rehearse for whatever reason, I don't remember. Sure, went and did that. Then Ben got sick in 2009, 4th of July weekend. Ben gets sick 4 days before a gig. He ends up in the hospital. Rob, can you do it?
Don was
Now,
about that.
yeah, well, me and my wife and our two kids who were young at the time were going to Boston for a holiday, July 4th weekend. So at first I said no because I felt the wrath of what I was going to hear at home, right? Then I started thinking about myself, what the hell? I can't turn this down. This is too good to turn down.
Yeah.
So I said yes, worked out my wife. She drove the kids to Boston. I went to California, played the gig, and then flew to Boston, met my family. It was all good. Didn't hear anything for a while. And then all of a sudden, Ben decided he wanted to resign due to some personal issues going on at the time. This was 10 years ago. Again, I get the call, hey, we need a drummer this time. Now, I was called in January 2016. Right. He gave me the gig. The next day, he took it back. He's like, I got to give my brother another chance. And I was like,
right.
Wait a minute. What? You give me a gig one day, and the next day you take it away.
Take it back.
Wow. I felt like jumping in front of a train because I was like, okay, my dreams have come true, and
right.
Poof. So Ben rides it out for about a month, decides he wants out again. I get another phone call on Valentine's Day of 2016. This time, Lou again. Hey, you want to join? And I felt like going, I wanted to say,
how long? Right.
But I said yes. The rest is history. So that's how I got that.
So how long did you end up playing in that band for? You said it was 2016. Like I said, Don told me a little bit, but
yeah, Don was gone by that time.
Yeah, he said something like that. I think he wasn't there, but yeah, he said around 20.
All three guys in the band when I joined were in bands I'd been in Rochester, and even the Foreigner tribute band. And then when I joined is also when they brought a live sax player in, Scott Gilman, who was in Foreigner with Lou. So it really brought together a huge change in the band with me on drums and then an actual sax player, because Andy, the keyboard player, would play the sax parts on synthesizer. It really didn't sound the same.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same timbre, whatever.
No. And then the next year, Andy left, and we got Jeff Jacobs, who was also in Foreigner, played with Billy Joel. He was in the band. So we had three guys in the band that were in Foreigner together in the band. And we did 2 years together like that. That was amazing. It's like that was great. So I was in the band 2016, 17, and 18. with
So
Lou.
what was that like? I mean, from being in a foreigner cover band for so long and then
To
finally
be in his band.
it had to be surreal at first. I mean, he's one of the best rock vocalists of all time. He's rated one of the top 50 all time,
Absolutely.
you know. And
I'd get him in the top 5.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. He's
Lou in his prime. Lou
yeah,
and
it is
Steve
prime.
Perry. Lou
Yeah,
and Steve Perry are like top 2 in my book.
you know,
Two of them, but yeah,
but
it was awesome.
age definitely has an effect on anybody,
Well, his
especially
illness is what did
yeah,
it to
he had
him.
a brain tumor.
As soon as he had the brain tumor, and which saved his life, he had that operation and all the
They,
medication he was on. He gained a lot of weight from all
yeah,
that. Everybody
yeah.
kind of was like, "Oh, Lou's ate too many cheeseburgers or something like that." It's like, no, you don't understand.
Yeah, I
The
read
guy
something
almost
about
died.
he was embarrassed about that, I guess, because he gained
Yeah,
so much weight.
but that affected his voice. That's what did it to his voice.
Yeah.
It
But
wasn't his choice.
you know what? I admire him for continuing.
Yeah.
Still passionate about it and he's still doing it and he loves it. And sure he's not like he was in his prime, but you can still tell it's Lou. Yeah,
Well, he's talked about retiring. I
yeah,
swear to God, every year since I was in the band.
yeah,
He does it, which is great because
yeah.
what else is he going to do? He loves cars. He's got his classic cars,
Mm,
and he loves those more than music or or a close second.
really?
But that's, you know what I mean? What else is he going to do? He loves it. It's his whole life, you
Yeah,
know?
why stop if it's going to continue to entertain people and people are going to continue to show up and whatever.
Yep.
I mean, why stop?
Everybody loves him
Yeah,
for good reason.
yeah. I mean, he's amazing.
He's doing the foreigner thing now, too, periodically with his own solo. He's really busy, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I noticed that. Like you said, he's talked about retiring, and I swear to God, I just read something not long ago that he was going to retire, and then I find out that he's back out there playing. So yeah, so I
Don't
mean,
believe that.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, he's definitely one of my top 5 too, as vocalist. So I would have
Yeah, man.
probably shit a brick, the first time playing with him, just to hear him sing. I love his voice, at least,
Yeah.
in his prime.
It was so much fun playing with him. And yeah, I had to pinch myself for a
Yeah,
while, you know?
it's cool. Well, that started you on your journey too. I mean, have that credibility right there, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, from playing in clubs for years and years and years and honing your craft and your talent and your professional skills. But in the music industry, you almost have to not only have the talent, but you have to kind of be at the right place at the right time. And
So it's a combination of a lot. Yes, you have to be able to play. That's the foundation. But like we said, you got to be a cool dude to hang out with.
oh yeah, yeah,
But yeah, you also got it. I mean, there are plenty of those people, but the opportunity doesn't present itself. So there is a lot of luck involved with it because you can be the best player, you can be the coolest dude, you can have all your shit together, but if you don't meet the right person or that opportunity never shows, and that happens to a lot of people, that's the way it rolls, you know. And unfortunately, a lot of people that aren't as deserving, let's say, but they just meet the opportunity when it arises, they get the gig or whatever. So you have to you just all you can do is what you can do, right? You can't control what you can't control. So control what you can control.
you got to put yourself out there too, though, to
Yeah,
have that possibility of being in the right place at the right time.
absolutely.
If you're just sitting in your room practicing all day, it's never going to amount to anything until you actually get out there and play. You have to put yourself out there, and it doesn't matter how much you suck at first. You just got to get out there and you just keep playing and playing and playing. And
Experience.
yeah,
You need
get the
experience.
experience. Yeah.
Perfect example. Okay. I haven't played with Nelson since last September up until this past weekend. I've been keeping up with the material. I've been playing the songs. I know them backwards and forwards. But my whole point is I keep up on that stuff, but nothing, we were a little rusty. We're a little rusty because we haven't played since September.
Right.
So getting to back to what you're saying, you can be as great as God's earth in your bedroom. Okay.
Yep.
That's good. But can you go out in front of an audience and play? Can you entertain somebody? When you make a mistake, what are you going to do? You need all that stuff. You have to experience playing live. Nothing substitutes for playing live, period. I don't care who you are or how good you are. If you cannot get in front of people, put on a smile, do your gig and entertain people, then it doesn't matter how good you are. Because just stay in your bedroom.
Yeah.
You know, and part of that, I think, in today's society is people are so afraid of failure. They're afraid of mistakes. All they want is positivity and reward. And that's all you get on social media a lot of times. It's, you know, all this feedback loop of positivity. Oh, and you go and you're great and you're this and you're that. And okay, that's not setting you up for reality, because your mom's always going to tell you you're good. Your dad's always going to tell you you're good. Maybe your girlfriend's always going to tell you you're good.
Or you're sitting in your room and you're practicing something for like 10 hours and then you finally record it until it's perfect. That's not reality.
It's not reality, because when you get out in front of people, they don't know you. They don't care. And when you start messing up and people go, you suck, what are you going to do?
You have to bring it.
Oh my God, somebody told me I suck. Nobody's ever told me that before. I've been a snowflake my entire life. Where do I go?
I started playing out when I was really young, like underage, going into bars and sneaking in and still, you know, getting to play and shit like that.
Me too.
I feel that in one performance live, you can learn a lot more than you can in maybe 6 months playing in your bedroom.
Absolutely.
Because you have to fucking bring it right then and there. And it really challenges you to learn whether or not you really have your shit together and you have your skills down. It's a lot easier to sit in your bedroom.
Well, you're in a controlled environment in your bedroom. It's you control your environment in your bedroom. Everything's perfect. Good. When you get in front of people and you're on a stage, nothing's in your control anymore.
Yeah.
And that freaks people out, because all of a sudden they don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And things aren't going to go your way frequently.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell people. Get out, play. When you're young and you don't give two shits about making money, play as much as you can, open for people. Just get out there and get the experience, and you'll get better, and eventually you'll make money. But when you're young, that's the best thing I can tell you. Don't sit in your bedroom all day long. You got to get out there and perform. You have to. That's invaluable.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Definitely.
And record yourself. I will say
this. Yeah, that's great. That's great advice, dude. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no.
I mean, it made me think of when I was like 16, 15, 16 years old. Every month I would record myself playing the same riff or something or whatever to see how much I've progressed.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's where you were going with that, but I mean, that's what I still do that now. I mean, it's just, kind of ingrained in me because I'm constantly recording anyway.
I have recordings of me back to when I first jammed with a band when I was 14. I had my Panasonic boombox. I stuck it in the room at the music school I was at. We played a few tunes for a rehearsal or a recital we were doing, and I've got recordings of me back then. And then when camcorders started happening, I would bring my camcorder to a gig. And then when I got with Lou, I bought a real nice, Zoom Q4N, and that's what's been there ever since. Any gig I do
for you. How's that
great. I love it. The video's great. The sound's great. And I tell you, there's many reasons to record yourself. Number one, the most important is for self-evaluation.
Yeah.
So you sit and you watch. And you see, when you play a gig and you fuck up or you have something good happens, something bad happens, you can't trust your judgment and your emotions in the time because you're not thinking rationally. Your adrenaline's going. You know what I mean? You gotta give it a couple of days. You sit down and you watch it with a clear head, and you're not in the moment, and you can be more critical and judge. Well, not critical. You can just be more objective, right?
Yeah, objective. Good.
So something that was bad that you thought was shit in the middle of a gig, you sit there and you watch it, go, wasn't that bad? What? But then you might pick up on like, oh, that was so cool. And then you watch yourself and I'm like, that was terrible. Don't do that again. But then, okay. So you got your recordings, you learn from it, you evaluate it. That's the most important thing, because that's how you get better. You can't always trust what somebody else says, because somebody else might not even caught that.
Yeah.
Or somebody might be blowing smoke up your ass because they don't want to tell you fucked up or whatever. And so, some people can't admit they're wrong, and they're called narcissists. So they'll never learn and they'll never evaluate. But some of us want to keep getting better and can accept that we make mistakes. So I That's why I like showing my mistakes.
Yeah.
The next thing where I'm going is this shit's great for social media. You
Yeah.
got clips of yourself performing. You got clips of yourself having fun. You got shit that people don't normally see.
Yep.
That's what I like to put up. And I don't care if I mess up. I don't care if I say something stupid. I don't care because I'm me, right?
Yeah.
That's who I am. I'm not trying to be somebody else.
Yep.
I'm not fake. I'm not trying to put on this air of I'm a rock star. No, I'm me. What you see is what you get. And here it is. And I fuck up. And I will fuck up and I'll knock over more cymbals.
Well, that's how I discovered you, putting those videos up online, on LinkedIn. And like I said, I fucking love it, man.
I will not discuss personal stuff.
Yeah.
I will not discuss politics,
Yep.
religion. I'm not going to argue with anybody.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm talking to a real person, even
Right.
if I would, and I just had this discussion with one of my best friends, and all these videos are on there, I think purposely to keep everybody divided and make you angry. And it's doing a great job.
Yeah.
And like, who can I don't want to put that in my head. I will not watch a video of violence. I will not watch a video of any of that, anything like a terrible car wreck, or I don't need that. I want positivity in my head. Okay. I don't need that shit in my head. It's low grade, low vibrational bullshit. And if people can just wake up and realize there's actually something going on outdoors, like reality, let's go outside.
That's what I was trying to tell my daughter. She's in the age where, she can't live without her iPhone. And I was like, when I was a kid, my mom would be like, go play in the fucking road. I remember getting my ass whipped for doing that. We were told to go play in the fucking road. So, yeah, of course, we're out there throwing snowballs at cars driving by. The guy stopped, and knocked on the door, and we all ran. And I remember my grandmother, I was like 10 years old. I remember my grandmother, like, taking me over her knee, trying to spank me. I was fucking laughing hysterically, She's like, you little bastard.
That's when you could hit a kid.
Right. Yeah. It seemed like it was normal. Yeah.
Now CPS will be knocking at your door, taking
you away. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Well, I hate to say this. This society over decades now has been purposefully dumbed down. Dumbed down. I'm sorry. But if you go back even 50 or 60 years and just watch pictures, movies, I'm just not even movies like Hollywood, home movies or whatever. People dress better. People talked better. People presented themselves better. People knew how to write cursive. People knew how to critically think. You know what I mean? You go back in the 1800s, you look at the architecture, you look at the cathedrals, you look at the buildings, you look at the music, you look at the paintings, and you sit there and you go, holy shit.
Yeah.
Where were we at?
The music was so fucking intelligent, like Bach, Beethoven, Mozart.
We are so far off that. Yeah. We are so far off that. And without going down the lane of conspiracy.
I totally agree with you. You said something about low vibration, and that made me think of exactly what you're talking about right now, bud.
Think of the cathedrals. Yeah. I'll go here with you. Yeah. The cathedrals, before the church took over the cathedrals, I believe those were built for healing centers. You have the vibrations of the organ, the church organ. You have the beauty of the architecture of the building. You have the beauty of the art in there. You have the stained glass, stained glass, and they can't reproduce some of those colors now. And all that stuff was coming, and you can go walk into those places, listen to the music, get the sunshine from the different frequencies of colors, because colors are frequency, and people would go there and they would self-heal themselves and just, get that whatever vibe, right?
Yeah, just from that whole environment.
Exactly. And we don't have that anymore.
You mentioned about the organ and the way it's built for acoustics, too.
When we play in any of these old theaters, even the shit that's like 100 years old, go with Lou, we did one in Long Island with Nelson you go in these old theaters, it's the vibe in those places are amazing. The construction, the artwork, the lighting, the acoustics. As soon as we walked in Patchogue on Long Island, Patchogue, where's it? As soon as we walked in, I was like, this is going to be the best gig of the three we're doing, because I could just feel it in there. And it was. Yeah. It was by far the best gig, because you can't mess with that. It just is. You know what I mean? You walk in, like we play some modern places that are sterile boxes. It was
Yep.
like, oh, cool, this is brand new. And I walk in there, I'm like, yeah, it's brand new.
But it
There's
sounds
no
like shit.
character. There's no vibe. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
There's no nothing. It's all right angle, square,
Dude, this is
all the
interesting.
angles of sorrow. Everything used to be ebb and flow and
Yeah.
circular and beautiful, and there wasn't any hard corners. And trust me, there's all sorts of shit that goes along with this stuff that not really many people talk about. And you feel it. You don't necessarily think about it. It's all in your subconscious, and you feel it. And when you feel it and you're up there playing, you give it to the crowd, and then the crowd feels it because they see you up there getting into it and feeling it.
Yeah.
They give
Yeah.
it back, and the next thing you
Yeah.
know, it's one big giant circle jerk.
Yeah. Of energy. Yeah. And it's just the
Right.
feeding off from one another. I know that the venue can definitely have an effect on performance. Like you were saying, some places are amazing, like the cathedrals or the theaters or whatever. And then some places are sterile.
I have a hard time getting in the zone when
Yeah.
either the crowd sucks or there's not a lot there.
Yeah.
It's just me. That's what I need to feed off.
Yep.
Who's really great at doing that? If you've ever seen the movie, the story of Anvil, right? The Canadian band Anvil. By the time the early 90s came out, they were playing in front of 20 people in bars, at least the gigs I went to. I went to see my buddy who played lead guitar with them for a while. And they still went up there and played like it was Madison Square Garden. They gave it all. And I was like, wow, I can't do that.
You feed off the crowd, you feed off of their energy too. And
Yeah.
I understand that. I do understand that. It's hard to feel like you're not being appreciated. People are just standing there like this. And it's hard for you to get into it.
We're not really told about just getting a gut feeling or a vibe off somebody, yet we all experience it all the time. You can walk into a
We
room.
all have an aura.
Right.
Everyone.
How many times you walk into a room and you can feel it's like, hey, all right. Like I said, we played Pachok in that theater, walked in, I'm like, it's gonna be fucking great. And I hadn't even set up a drum yet, and I knew it. I already walk into a room and all you feel is a nice cold something.
Oh, yeah.
Right. That it exists.
The aura, yeah, I totally believe that, dude. I 100% agree with you on that. That's awesome, dude. Let's talk about Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, right? Now, you're a counselor at Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. You see musicians at many levels. What patterns do you notice in people who progress versus those who struggle?
Well, I last did that. I did it once. I did it a few years ago, and it was a new experience for me. I've been a music teacher, teaching drums, but as a counselor like that was new. So what your job is to like corral people in a short period of time, inform them into a cohesive enough sounding band to play whatever songs are, chosen or on the list, right? Now, the people I had were all on the same level except one guy. Remember, one guy was just a beginner, really having a tough time. And he was mismatched in the band that, I was leading. So they put him in another group with people more his speed. So at least that got taken care of, because if he had stayed in the band with everybody else, he would have not had fun. He would have been like, I suck, and these people are better than me. So the first key is making sure everybody's on the same level, being able to play the same. But you got to realize, first of all these people got a fair amount of money, because it ain't cheap to go there. It's like $5,000 or $6,000 or whatever. They're there because they kind of wanted to be rock stars, but never ended up being. They ended up being successful businessmen or whatever. So this is fun. That's why they call it a fantasy camp. They're there to have fun and kind of live out a dream. Now, a lot of them keep coming back. I noticed that, they do repeat ones and they kind of be regulars, which is cool. That's great. They have like their 4 big stars, and then they have semi-famous to famous counselors, like what I did, so you have like your tier of the big name people. It was fun. Watching the campers get to play with the stars, So, we as the counselors would whip them into shape. And then what would happen was we'd get into a little area, performance area or whatever, and each band goes up and plays with each star, right? Yeah. And so that's so cool, because they're literally standing next to, like, Nancy Wilson was one of the people. Nancy Wilson, and
fucking cool.
And it was cool for me to be there, because I'm like, cool, it's Nancy Wilson. I mean, I was thinking this was cool too. But one of the people in my band was about 15-year-old girl singer. She was really good. And I was like, this is so cool. I have videos of all this shit, by the way, too. It's the coolest thing.
That's good.
And the girl sitting there singing, whatever heart song we were doing, and Nancy Wilson standing right next to her playing guitar. I mean, come on, how much better can it be than that? Amazing. To watch a young girl have that experience. I don't think even the good ones don't always understand how much sway and influence they have over people, especially kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of them take it seriously, and a lot of them go out of their way to be nice because they do get it. But a lot of them don't. And you can crush somebody's dreams just by being an ass to somebody because you're having a bad day or you're a dick or whatever. You have no idea just by smiling at somebody how much you can make or break their day.
So what role does confidence versus humility play in sustaining a career?
Well, both are important. Confidence is important. Narcissism isn't necessarily good, but being confident. See, a lot of people think they're kind of the same. Like, oh, if you're confident and self-assured,
you're
a narcissist, you're full of yourself. You think you're better than everybody else. No, two different things. Everybody should be confident in what they're doing. You have to be, because people will see right through that if you're not. If you're up there and you're not confident, you're up there like, shit, I screwed up. Oh no. You know what I mean? People see right through that crap. You have to, it's not a matter of selling it, even if it isn't there. I mean, yeah, you got to kind of sell yourself, fake it till you make it. Some people say, okay, a little bit of that, but you really have to be confident. You have to have your act together, and it's okay to know that and be confident in yourself. That's what attracts other people to you is confidence, right? So that is important.
It reflects through your playing. If you are confident.
Right. Because I have to be up there just on autopilot and playing. I have to have my shit together and confident that I can do it. I can't be thinking about what I'm doing, right? I have to know I know how to play and execute it. So humility is also very important, because you're no better than anybody else, right? I don't care how good you are. I don't care how good you think you are. Everybody in humanitarian terms is equal, right? We're all equal. Now, some people are better drummers. Some people are better basketball players. Some people are better whatever. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But I'm not any better than you or anybody else listening to this interview. I just have a skill that was given to me, and that's cool, right?
What practical habits should aspiring drummers start building right now?
Number one, well, I mentioned before, is always practice with a metronome. Very important, because time is everything. I don't care how good you are. There's a famous drummer, and I forget which guy it was, but I know he was famous, who auditioned for Bad English. Remember that supergroup Bad English in the 90s? And I guess it was Jonathan Cain pulled the guy aside and said, "What? Have you ever played with a click track before?" Like, no. Like, you need to play with. This is a famous guy. The same thing, like I said, with Steve Smith. He played in Journey for 8 years. And by the time Perry said, "You need to play with a click track on this record," and he's like, "I've never played with a click track." One of the best drummers in the world. Yeah. So my whole point is, start out playing with a click track, whatever you do, because even if you don't play with it live, it will develop a good sense of time. So you got to do that. Practice. Nothing, just practice. But, some people sit there and go, I got to play 4 hours a day. Me, I don't think you should force yourself into doing something that you don't really feel like doing that day. That isn't a license to be lazy.
Yeah.
But I don't think you benefit by forcing something, right? You're just sitting there hating it. Sometimes getting away from something for a while freshens it up when you come back to it, because then you're inspired. Go watch as many bands as you can play live. Play out live as much as you possibly can. And really, if you can, get going before you really need to start supporting yourself. Because once you have to pay the bills and you start having kids and you have a wife, it gets really hard to all of a sudden keep following that dream. And it gets really hard to be able to take low or no paying gigs when you got bills to pay, right? So when you're young, still living in mom's basement, you can do all that stuff. When real life hits you later on down the road, it gets tougher because you're not going to leave your house on a Saturday night to go open for whatever national act for 45 minutes with no sound check for free. Like, who wants to do that?
Right.
What are you getting out of that? Oh, people are going to see me. Maybe. And there are people that will say, go play any gig and never turn it down. And that's a different discussion. I really do believe that you should always play any gig you can get. And that, I am saying that, but I'm just saying is when you get older, it gets tougher because you need, all of a sudden you got real life.
I got some rapid fire questions for you and then we'll get this wrapped up. Studio or stage?
Stage.
Definitely, right. I think I already know the answers to a lot of these from you. Click track or natural push pull?
Natural push pull.
Your favorite groove feel?
Favorite groove feel?
Yeah.
Probably the shuffle, because you've got Fool in the Rain, you've got Rosanna. There's a song by Kim Mitchell. I don't know if you know Canadian guy Kim Mitchell.
No.
He's got a song called All We Are, which is a great slow shuffle. So shuffle.
Oh, that's cool, man. Most underrated drummer trait? Trait. Yeah.
Well, to be a good drummer, I mean, people always would talk about coordination, right? But that's not overrated because that's kind of common. But I think the ability to micromanage like we're hitting a lot of different things at once and they're processing a lot of things at once. And I treat the drum set as one thing, right? It's one, even though there could be a billion things there. So the ability to like take all that and put it into one instrument to be organized, right? To be able to micromanage it into that. You have to be a little bit OCD, I guess.
One album every drummer should hear?
Wow.
Yeah.
Only one. I don't know. I mean, I can't name just one. If you're putting me to the fire for one. All right, I'm going way off radar here for no reason, but I'll just say the first Toto record.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of different shit Jeff Porcaro plays on that record. So if you want to hear a lot of everything, listen to that record.
That's cool. I'll definitely have to check it out. Dream artist to share the stage with?
Kim Mitchell. Most people listening to this will think it's a chick, and Kim Mitchell is a guy, and he's Canadian. And I know all those guys. I met them when we played with them at a big festival in Canada 10 years ago. Me and the drummer Dave were friends. I've gone to see them play many times. They are the friendliest people, as we all know. Canadians are the friendliest. And his music is so great. And there's so much variation in it. You can kind of characterize it as rock, but that doesn't do it justice. And most of his stuff came out in Canada. You might have a hard time finding a lot of it. Just go to Spotify and try and find as much Kim Mitchell as you can. And don't judge what you hear by one song because there's many different things. But I would love to play with that guy.
Listen, Rob, I really enjoyed talking to you, man.
Same here, John.
I sincerely thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation with you, dude. Thanks a lot.
All right. Yeah.
Take care.
Take care.